Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes. And in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Active duty service members helping as security here. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So it's an ongoing investigation, but we had over a dozen active duty service members in the club tonight, either as patrons or working as armed security.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is that we have the DEA arresting hundreds and hundreds of illegal immigrants. A actual raid on Colorado Springs because it seems that when you have the law enforcement and you have the government work hand in hand, it seems that you get a lot of things done. And this is proving that when you do not have the backing and help of local law enforcement helping to arrest illegal immigrants, you tend to get a worse result because you have to go everything blind. But this is showing that if you work with your friends, with your co-workers, with your law enforcement, etc., things go quite well. And the DEA arrests 100 people, and it doesn't seem that it seems to be any negative sense of slight here.
Immigration enforcement crackdown has led to hundreds of arrests in Florida in a matter of days. Immigration and Customs Enforcement posted on X that ICE Miami and Florida law enforcement arrested nearly 800 undocumented migrants in the first 4 days of their Operation Tidal Wave this week. In response, Governor Ron DeSantis posted that, quote, Florida is leading the nation in active cooperation with the Trump administration for immigration enforcement and deportation operations.
Yeah, so obviously this seems to be a great work and job of what is going on with the DEA and really, catching up these illegal immigrants. And of course, not Fox News, but specifically the media will not like to portray this as being a victory or what have you. And a lot of people are calling out to say is like, oh, well, this is not going well. This is not fantastic. We have other things that we have other things that we should be worrying about, which is not the illegal immigrants. Or it's just the mere fact that we have people even on the right side saying that Trump is not doing enough to arrest these people. Well, it's like, Trump is doing the best that he can, because when you had Barack Obama, I'm pretty sure a majority of the states were willing to help arrest and deport illegal immigrants. Whereas here, we have a lot of states not wanting to work with Donald Trump to arrest these illegal immigrants and deport them. So there's one side that has opposition and then one side that does not have opposition. So I think Trump is doing a fantastic job considering the fact that he's been getting all of this done with opposition. So without further ado, we're going to get directly into this here of what's going on.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Diane Derby. We are interrupting programming because the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency is providing details right now about a large raid that took place at what they say is an underground nightclub on the southeast side of Colorado Springs. They're updating reporters right now. This is near Academy Boulevard and Airport Road. Let's listen in.
And took a number of people into custody. I think what I'd like for people to know as a result of this operation is that Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer community today.
Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show of force?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes. And in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
I find it absolutely hilarious, right? That we have this here where we have this raid from the DEA, and it goes to show that when the media says, "Oh, well, American citizens go commit more crimes than illegal immigrants. Oh, the American citizens are the bad ones. The American citizens are the people at fault." Yet we have a raid here arresting 100 plus, almost 1,000 of these illegal immigrants. And what it comes out to be is that there was a prostitution, illegal prostitution. There was violence, illegal guns, almost everything that you could possibly think of. And the media and the Democrats want to tell you, oh, it's the Americans, by the way, that are the actual evil people. It's not the illegal immigrants. They're beautiful and angels. They wouldn't harm a fly. But these Americans, yeah, they're the villains. They're the bad people. They're the ones that are committing the most crimes. See how we get this from the media, the contrast of what the media is trying to portray Americans here. They're saying the Americans are bad and the illegal immigrants are good, yet it couldn't be further from the truth. It seems that a majority of these illegal immigrants are committing crimes. But, of course, the Americans, they're bad people.
Duty service members helping as security here. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So it's an ongoing investigation, but we had over a dozen active duty service members in the club tonight, either as patrons or working as armed security.
How many of those were detained, and what are they facing right now?
So Army CID was one of our partners out here, and they're going to work with us on what the next steps for those active duty service members looks like.
You mentioned that this is a drug trafficking operation. Can you elaborate on any drugs you found, the amount, any charges you anticipate that could come out of tonight?
So as you may suspect, when the cops showed up at the door, most of the drugs hit the floor. And we did find cocaine. It looks like some pink cocaine or the Tusi. And there was a little bit of other drugs, but we haven't had time to test everything. But there were dozens of small packages of drugs that they've recovered so far that I have personally seen.
How got tipped off to this location?
This has been a long-term investigation by DEA and a number of our federal partners. And so we've been working on this underground nightclub for a number of months, doing undercover, surveillance, a lot of other work to identify what's going on here. And again, months-long information about drug trafficking and prostitution happening inside.
So you said there were 300 federal law enforcement. How many people were actually inside of this underground nightclub?
We estimate over 200 people were inside the nightclub when we came here tonight, and so that's why we needed such a large force. Anytime you're dealing with that many people, we want to do it safely, and that's what we did.
The nature of the nightclub, are all of them facing charges? Everyone inside?
No, they're not. A lot of people were turned away. As I said, over 100 went into ICE custody. A few people went on state arrest warrants. They had outstanding warrants. And we actually have a few other operations pending right now across the city. We're waiting to determine if there'll be other arrests from those.
So again, what we have here is just a numerous amount of actual illegal immigrants being caught. And this is what I'm trying to get at here, and I'll reiterate it, is that when you have cooperation from your friends, from your allies, or from anybody that you're trying to do something, you can get things done so much easier and so much quicker than when you're being opposed to something, when they're doing things illegal, like harboring illegal immigrants, or for example, they redirect somebody to somebody else, so that way they don't get caught or whatever. So this is kind of like where we're going at here with this insanity, right? Where things are quite a nuisance, but it seems that there are more operations underway, and it seems that there seems to be a lot more illegal immigrants that are committing illegal nightclub, by the way. So it's not just because they just did all of this off the whim. They did an investigation, and there was an illegal nightclub happening. It seems there's more illegal nightclubs happening.
You guys faced any immediate threats going in, or was everything just a smooth operation going in and out, making sure everything was taken care of?
Anytime there's 200 people, there's going to be a little bit of concern about safety. But Overall, it was a safe operation.
Was TDA present here?
In our investigation, we have noticed TDA, MS-13, and I believe Hell's Angels in this club. I don't have the information about whether those members were there tonight, but we're still working through a lot of that because we have so many people in custody. We're working through a lot of the information about who's who.
Jonathan, after the raid in Adams County back in January, you received criticism because you didn't have arrests. You talked about the cops went in, the drugs went to the ground. Are you expecting to be criticized here, and then how do you address those critics now?
So DEA is going to continue to work to keep our community safe, no matter what the criticism is, right? We are not going to accept drug trafficking and prostitution in our cities, and so absolutely Colorado Springs is waking up to a safer city this Sunday morning.
Can you talk to us about the local assistance and how that all played out?
Absolutely. We had over 10 federal agencies in support of this operation, but we also had Colorado Springs PD and El Paso County Sheriff's Office supporting us.
2 more questions.
Obviously, Tony mentioned too the one in Adams County that also involved quite a bit of people who were here illegally. What do you say to anyone's concern or vantage point that these look like immigration operations happening under DEA operations?
These crimes go hand in hand, right? When we find drug trafficking and prostitution, unfortunately, we're finding a lot of illegal aliens. 200 people in this club, a lot of drug trafficking happened, weapons, prostitution, over half the people inside were illegals.
Jonathan, you talked about the investigation is ongoing.
So again, what you have here, guys, is that normally in this situation, we have, when they do these type of investigations, you find a whole bunch of illegals doing this type of stuff. It's not just like off the whim. So the illegal immigrants are committing these crimes. They're the ones that are doing this type of thing here to where it's causing problems. And since that's the fact that's what's been going on, I suspect that maybe the illegals are not the role models we kind of want to look after over the American citizens. That's kind of where I get to see this.
But talk to us about the significance of active duty military being investigated for drug-related crimes at this location.
Yeah, it's obviously concerning to have active duty military involved. We're working with our partners at Army CID on that piece. Obviously, where we are here in the Springs, there's a lot of military bases here, so it's not necessarily surprising, but we're going to take that very seriously.
What's the message?
Yeah. So what we have here is just a collaboration of the federal department, DEA, working with the local law enforcement and getting things done. And I think every last one of these people, every last one of these illegals should be immediately charged from the DEA, etc., and be put in prison or be deported, or no, not put in prison, but deported, because obviously these people are constantly doing crimes, and it's just not a great benefit to our country or let alone our society. All right, guys, that's it for video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.